Hello and welcome back. Today we are taking a look at the World Champions 2024 decks from Pokemon the trading card game. So if you're not familiar with the Pokemon trading card game, it's incredibly popular, and every year they have a World Champions which are held in various countries throughout the world. For example, last year's was held in Honolulu, Hawaii. 2023's was Japan. 22's was London, etc., etc. And every year, Pokemon Company, about a year later, maybe 10 months, come out with a copy of the decks used by the World Champions. We get the child's World Champion, the sort of teenage group, and then the adult, and usually the adult runner-up. So there are 4 decks to choose and play from. These decks are facsimiles, so they are legitimate, fully licensed Pokemon products, but they are facsimiles of the decks used by the champions, and as a result are not legal in tournament play. So you can then take a copy of these to a 25 world champion, for example, but they are, perfectly playable within your own home or your local gaming stores, assuming they allow it, etc. And here we have the 4 decks from the World Champions. As you can see, I've already opened 2 of them because my son and I were playing with those last night. I'll put those to the side and we'll take a look at those at the end. But otherwise, we do have the 4 decks. So the first deck, let's make sure, let's see. So that's the senior. Let's start with the junior, shall we? That's another senior. Okay, so the Ancient Toolbox deck, which is this one here, was from our junior champion. So the packaging is pretty much the same throughout, bar the name of the deck and who played it. But on the back you get a summary of the winner and the deck they played, along with a breakdown of the 60 card deck and some product information. Then on the bottom is your standard legal and barcodes. Get some nice flowery artworks on the side and an underwater Pikachu or a snorkeling Pikachu there. Then we had the senior champion, which is obviously a teenage category. So again, champion, deck listing, product details. And then we get our 2 world champions. So you get the master champion here, and you get the semi-finalists here. So opening them up, they have corrugated tops, so you can just sort of pop them open without tearing too much of the plastic. Or the cardboard, sorry. Pulling them out, they all come with pretty much the same stuff, bar the decks. So you get a guide to the World Champions. Aloha from Hawaii. So it gives us a summary of how the champions broke down into their various tournaments. We get some behind the scenes photos from the events itself. Some more information on our winners, not just the finalists, but also the various runners up. Same with our seniors division. And then our masters. Then it gives some details on the video game World Champions, which are held at the same time. And some credits for the World Champions. So you get a nice little booklet on it. You then get a playmat / poster. So you get some lovely little Pokemon artwork, very Hawaii-like on one side, and then the other side is our playmat. What I do like about these playmats is it gives a turn breakdown. So if you're new to the game or you're trying to learn it, you've got a handy little reference guide there, including a summary of what each stat is on the cards themselves. Then opening it up, we get a nice metal pin. I do always like the Pokemon pins. They are made of a nice sturdy metal with some strong pins to hold them in place. I quite like that Pikachu. We get a coin. And then we get our decks. And we get a code card for the Pokemon TCG live game. And the code card gives you access to some cosmetic items for the game. So, your Honolulu themed deck boxes, card sleeves, etc., etc. So they're all the same. So there'll be two here. There's this one. And there'll be one more later on for someone to grab. So then we get our decks themselves. So these are a standard 60 card deck. They get a different back to the standard TCG cards, so you can identify that they are for the World Champions. And additionally, we get the player's signature there, and we get a little wording there that it's not to be used in official tournaments. So this is Jesse Parker's deck, the Don. It's an electric based deck, so we get a load of electric energy. Energy is how you power your Pokemon in the game, and then you also get a lot of tools, trainer tools, etc., which act as ways of aiding your Pokemon in the battle. We get Raikou, Zapdos, Radiant Greninja, a Mew EX, Luminion. So you can see here where these are normally sort of hollow in the official cards you would get from packs or other decks, because these aren't tournament legal, they are just a standard printing. So they almost look like a knockoff, but they are definitely not. They are from a legitimate pack. So that's our deck for the Don. You can see we get a nice little storage case, which is textured. We also get our senior champions, which is from Evan Paleski, and this is Reggie Draco Star or V Star. So again, you get your leaflet or your little booklet, your play mats. We're going to get a coin, the same coin and same pin. So everything's the same throughout, just the decks are different. So this is our Reggie Draco V-Star, and here's the code for this one, if someone wants to try and claim that. And this is Evan Palveski's deck, which is based on the Reggie Draco V-Star. So we get our various energies. I haven't played these decks, I'm not too familiar with how they play, but obviously they're World Champions decks, so they are strong, competitive decks. So you get some strong decks out of these. We'll take a quick look at the other two. As I said, I've previously opened them because my son and I were playing them last night, and they were fun to play. This one is Sakya Ota Ancient Toolbox. Sakya was our junior champion. This one was based around Roaring Moon Ancient Pokemon, which this one I was playing, and the idea is you discard a bunch of cards with the ancient symbol on them, and it allows your Pokemon to do extra damage. My primary focus in TCG now is Magic. For a while I was collecting and playing Pokemon, and I enjoy it enough. My biggest issue with the game is that it's, like all TCGs, it's turn-based, but there is no player interaction between turns, and as a result it becomes fairly quick to establish who's going to end up winning the game, especially if you have deck matchups which just aren't on a equal footing. But nonetheless, it is a fun game for between two players. If you're new to TCGs, it's an easy one to get into. With basic and simple rules to learn, but quite a deep mechanic in terms of strategies and cards which interact with each other well. But one of the big issues with Pokemon is if you're trying to build a meta deck, you're looking at hundreds of pounds to actually build it. Whereas these, while they're not tournament legal, they make for fun decks to play at home with, to play at your local stores with, to learn the game. If you've got children who want to play together, they're fantastic because they range from about £15 to £20. Previous years have been about the £15 mark, but I think these this year are around the 20 mark. But compared to buying other decks which are, 30, 40 quid, or basic starter decks which are the same price as these but nowhere near as powerful or as useful, these are fantastic purchases. And the reason I got them so that I can sit and play with my son, who's Pokemon mad. He loves Pokemon. He goes to a club every Saturday, so he builds, you know, his own decks, which are tournament legal and pretty meta and powerful. But with these, I can sit at home, I can play with them. I don't have to worry about, you know, spending tons of money on decks which I can use to play against him with. And equally with these, you don't have to worry about things like set rotations where certain cards are no longer legally playable, etc, etc. But there we have these decks. As I said, I think they're fantastic purchases, and I highly recommend them for pretty much all types of players, really, whether you're new to the game, whether you're highly experienced, whether you're just looking for a fun little pickup for a trip or for a kid or something. They meet pretty much all the various demographics who play this game. And because they're not tournament legal, they tend to be a little easier to get because you haven't got scalpers pulling them apart to flip and flog all of the premium cards in the decks. I'm just going to have a quick rant here because it's really annoying me at the moment, but Pokemon is a child's game. It is aimed at children, primarily. I'm not knocking any adults who play the game. You know, I'm nearly 40, I play it, I enjoy it, but it is a children's game. And yet you have grown adults hogging and hoarding all of the product available on the high streets to rip them open, to flip the cards, to sell the packages on it. Ridiculous prices. I've seen on eBay product items which have an RSP of £50 going for £100, £200. It's ridiculous. It's sickening. It is really, really sickening that you have grown adults out there taking the product away from the hands of children who this is designed for. You shouldn't have to spend a mortgage payment just to buy something for your kid for these. I'm absolutely sick of scalpers doing this, hoarding the cards. It's sickening. It is disgusting. Frankly, if you're a scalper and you're watching this, then you are the lowest form of people out there, in my opinion. You really are. It really, really does sicken me. F scalpers and all that. Sorry, rant over. It's just something that's annoying me because, you know, I firmly believe that it should be easier for children to be able to get hold of products aimed at them and not. Because scalpers have hoarded all of the products. I'm sure you've all seen the videos online of grown adults pushing each other out the way just to buy packs. It's ridiculous. It really is. Anyway, rant over. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay safe, be nice to each other, and don't scalp. Thank you. Goodbye.